Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a massive energetic leap into the physical world all around us. We're going to take all those disparate science facts, the things you might have learned years apart, and connect them into one cohesive, completely spectacular story. So get ready for a dynamic, fun refresher that's absolutely going to change how you view your everyday surroundings. So I want you to really think about this for a second. How exactly does a single seed, a ray of light, and a drop of water power the entire planet? I want to shift your mindset today. Forget everything you remember about cramming definitions for some old science test. Instead, we're going to discover how these everyday basic components interact continuously to keep our whole universe running.
Okay, let's dive into this. To make sense of it all, we're going to break things down into four main areas. First up, biology, the web of life. Then chemistry, looking at matter and change. Third is physics, where we'll tackle energy, forces, and motion. And finally, Earth, our interconnected environment.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Biology, the Web of Life.
We're going to connect this directly to you. Think about what you had for breakfast today. A balanced diet is kind of like a precise biological fuel injection. Your toast or rice, those are carbohydrates, giving you instant energy. Your eggs? That's protein, literally rebuilding your cells as we speak. And, we can't forget the veggies, the roughage. It's got the, let's just say, unglamorous but absolutely essential job of keeping everything moving through your digestive tract. Without all these specific pieces working together, your body's engine just stalls out.
But hey, while you're munching on that breakfast, how do the plants outside get their food? Well, plants are actual geniuses. They literally make their own food out of thin air and sunshine using photosynthesis. And the real MVP here is chlorophyll. That's the green pigment in leaves that grabs the sunlight and makes the whole magic trick happen.
And that perfectly leads to exactly what's going on inside that leaf. Now, do not let the chemistry letters and numbers intimidate you here. It's really just a beautiful little recipe. You take 6 molecules of carbon dioxide from the air, add 6 molecules of water, and sunlight transforms them into sugar, which is the plant's food, and oxygen. And the crazy part? That oxygen at the end of the recipe is literally what you and I are breathing in right this very second.
So, let's see how this ties right back to our own survival. The oxygen those plants just pumped out needs to get to every single cell in your body. Enter your circulatory system. You can think of your blood components as a super highly specialized workforce. Your red blood cells, they're the delivery drivers, shuttling that plant-made oxygen all over the place. The white blood cells are your internal security detail, fighting off diseases. And the platelets, they're basically the emergency repair crew, rushing in to clot your blood the second you get a scratch. That pretty seamlessly wraps up the living organisms part. But what about the non-living stuff, right? The actual materials making up the world? That brings us to part 2. Chemistry, matter, and change.
Matter almost never exists perfectly pure out in nature. It's practically always mixed up with something else. And separating it out might just sound like basic kitchen chores, but you're actually doing foundational chemistry. When you strain your tea, that's filtration. Picking little stones out of dry rice, that's handpicking. Even the salt you sprinkle on your dinner was probably separated from seawater using the massive power of evaporation. So yeah, chemistry is literally happening in your kitchen every single day.
Now, what happens when that matter transforms? Well, a physical change is really just a wardrobe change. Melting ice is still water, tearing paper is still paper. No new substance is actually formed. But a chemical change? Now that's a total reinvention. Picture an old, abandoned bicycle left out in the rain for years. The oxygen and moisture react with the iron to create rust. It's a totally new reddish-brown substance. You can't just wipe the rust off and find the iron underneath. The chemistry has fundamentally altered the material itself.
So, the really crucial point here is how these different substances interact when they meet. Take neutralization, for example. If you take a strong acid, think of that sharp, sour bite of lemon juice, and you mix it with a base, which is usually bitter and slippery like soap. They basically fight it out and cancel each other's extremes. And the result? They create 2 entirely new, safe, neutral substances, salt and water. It's kind of like chemistry finding its perfect Zen balance. Okay, so now that we've got a handle on the matter making up our world, let's look at the invisible forces pushing it all around.
Welcome to Section 3, Physics, Energy, Forces, Motion.
Physics is super concerned with motion, and motion is governed by this incredibly foundational yet simple mathematical rule. Speed equals distance divided by time. Just think about your daily commute. If you live, say, 10 miles away from work, that distance is totally fixed. The only way to increase your speed is to decrease the time it takes you to get there. Distance and time are forever locked in this mathematical dance that dictates how fast literally everything in the universe moves.
Now, what's really interesting here is how we manage to manipulate light. Because light doesn't just travel in a straight line forever. It bounces back. We call that reflection. And by just slightly curving the surface it bounces off of, we can engineer totally different results. A flat, plane mirror, that shows you exactly as you are. A concave mirror curves inward and focuses light straight ahead, which is why it's perfect for a bright flashlight beam. But a convex mirror, that curves outward to capture a way wider field of view. That's exactly why it's used for the side view mirrors on your car to keep you safe on the highway.
Alongside light, we've got the flowing energy of electricity. And it's pretty binary. Materials either let electricity flow or they block it entirely. Conductors, like copper and iron, are basically the superhighways for electrical currents. Insulators, like rubber and plastic, are the brick walls. This exact relationship is the whole reason you have a copper wire inside your phone charger to actually deliver the power, and a plastic coating on the outside to make sure you don't get a nasty shock when you plug it in.
And of course, we absolutely cannot forget the invisible pulling force of magnetism. Magnets are actually incredibly picky. They only attract very specific materials, mainly iron, nickel, and cobalt. But the really wild part is the fundamental law of magnetism. Every single magnet has a north and a south pole. If you try pushing two north poles together, they will literally fight you and push apart. Like poles repel, but opposite poles, they snap together instantly. Opposites attract. All right, so we've covered life, matter, and energy. Now it's time to zoom all the way out. And that brings us to our final section, number 4, Earth, our interconnected environment.
Here's a perfect 4-step loop, the water cycle. Remember that heat energy we were just talking about? Well, the heat from the sun drives evaporation, turning liquid water into vapor. It rises up, cools down, and condenses into clouds, then falls right back down as precipitation and collects in our oceans and rivers, completely ready to start all over again. It is literally a continuous planetary-scale engine, powered by physics, moving the exact water necessary for biology to survive.
And speaking of survival, our forests are heavily reliant on that water cycle. Forests are basically the ultimate multitaskers of the planet. Tying right back to our first section, they use photosynthesis to pump out the oxygen we breathe. Their roots act like anchors, gripping the earth and preventing soil erosion. They even help maintain local rainfall patterns and provide homes for millions of organisms. And this is exactly why deforestation is just so devastating. Cutting them down isn't just about losing wood. It triggers floods, wrecks the soil, and causes massive wildlife loss. It's all just deeply connected.
Which brings us to the end of the explainer, and I've got a quick challenge for you. Seriously, stop for a second and just look around the room you're sitting in right now. Can you identify one physical change? Maybe a crumpled piece of paper on your desk? Can you spot one magnetic material? What about a light source? I really hope this explainer has shown you that you aren't just sitting in a boring room. You are sitting in a living, breathing science laboratory, completely surrounded by biology, chemistry, physics, and earth sciences, all working together in perfect harmony. Keep observing, keep asking questions, and I'll see you in the next explainer.